Hello everyone, welcome to BI Consulting Pro. In today's video, we are going to discuss about deployment pipelines in Power BI. I'm sure you have heard about it a lot of times. But in today's video, I'm gonna show you what are the different features in this and how we can use them, as well as what can be the limitations. So stay tuned till the end of this video. What is a deployment pipeline? Well, we all are aware about that in general. In our organizations, we have the different environments where we push the codes and then finally we released it into the production environment. The deployment pipelines tool enables BI creators to manage the life cycle of organizational content. It's an efficient and reusable tool for creators in an enterprise with premium capacity. Deployment pipelines enables creators to develop and test Power BI content before the content is consumed by end users. The content types include reports, dashboards, and datasets. So generally there are three stages, that is dev, test, and production. In dev, this stage is used to design, build, and upload new content with fellow creators. This is the first stage in deployment pipelines. Once the content has been deployed in dev, after that we need to test that. So in order to test it, there are testers in organizations, or sometimes the BI guys also do the same. In test environment, you are ready to enter the test stage after you have made all the needed changes to your content. You upload the modified content so it can be moved to this test stage. For examples, you can share content with testers and reviewers. You can load and run tests with larger volumes of data. And also, in test, you can test your app to see how it looks for the end users. Now we come to the prod or the production. After testing the content, use the production stage to share the final version of your content with business users across the organization. So in prod, we finally released our content where it's generally available for the end users. Now let's discuss about the deployment pipeline process. How can we achieve the same? So the very first is we have to create a pipeline. And once we created our pipeline, then we have to assign a workspace. But before moving into this part, you should know that you can only assign a Power BI premium capacity workspace into this. You cannot use your normal workspaces that you generally create with your Power BI Pro account. So you have to have your workspace which is based on the premium capacity. Thirdly, you develop and test your content, that is, you deploy your content into the dev and then subsequently in test and production. And at last, you share with your end users your content via app or via reports. It's up to you. Now, before moving forward, we should also discuss the prerequisites for deployment pipelines in Power BI. The very first is that you should be a Power BI Pro user and you belong to an organization that has a premium capacity. If you are using a Power BI Pro license and you do not have a premium capacity, then you cannot use this feature. It's a premium feature. You can also have a Power BI per user license, which Microsoft recently released and it's in the preview right now. Pricing has not been announced yet, but it is somewhere between the Pro and the Premium. So there you will get this advanced feature where you can utilize it. Secondly, you should be an admin of a new workspace experience, otherwise you cannot create deployment pipelines. How it works? So for that we have to see a demo, and in the demo I'm going to show you how to actually achieve the deployment pipelines. So let's head over to my Power BI desktop application first. So here you can see this is my Power BI desktop application where I have downloaded a sample report from Microsoft website, which is a sales and return. And this report is a ready-made by Microsoft. It's for the demonstration purpose or for your own learning. So if you want to download it, you can also download from the Microsoft website and you can start utilizing this. I'm going to publish this report into my premium workspace, and before that I'm also going to show you how to create your premium workspace. For that, first we have to open our browser and we need to log in into our Power BI service account. You need to sign into your Power BI service account. Once you are over here, you will see on your left hand side there are the workspaces. You need to click over here and then you can create your workspace. Once again, I would like to highlight this point that you should have Power BI Premium per user or Power BI Premium capacity based license. Only then you can utilize this feature, otherwise you cannot. So let's create a workspace. I'm gonna give it a name, Deployment Pipeline Demo. If you want to mention any description, you can give it over here, otherwise no need to. And you have to then go in the advanced options over here, and here we can define, okay, what would be the contact list. Right now it's this one, and now there is a feature down the line, you will say premium capacity, which is off currently. Then we have to switch it on, and then you have to select your region from where you want to create this premium capacity based workspace. If you want to change the default storage mode, you can also do that. And there is a small dataset storage format and large dataset storage format. So I'll go with the small only because it's just for demo purpose. I don't need anything else. And there is an option as well where you can develop a template app if you would like to. So I'm gonna just click on save button. It would take some time. And now you can see that deployment pipeline demo workspace is over here. And this is the icon for premium per user because my account is based on the premium per user license, which is right now in the preview feature. Now on your left hand side, again you will see there is a deployment pipelines. Once I'll click over here, you will get this window, which is kind of briefly going to explain you what is actually the process, how to create it. And once you are over here, I'm going to click on this create a pipeline, and I'm going to give it a name, demo pipeline. Optionally, you can also describe it. You can provide your description over here and then click create. And after a couple of seconds, you will see this kind of layout is going to appear in front of you, where you can see what is a deployment, test and production. Basically, these are the three different environments. Now you will also notice over here there is a button at the bottom of the screen which is saying assign a workspace. Currently we haven't assigned any workspace over here, and if I'll go into my workspace, here also you can create your pipelines. So if you would like to create from here, you can do the same, and if you want to create any content, you can also do the same over here. So let's go back into deployment pipelines. I'm over here. This is my pipeline that I created. If you want to create any new pipeline, that you can also create. Now click on this assign a workspace, and my workspace I need to select from the drop down. So basically all the premium workspaces are going to be there. So let me select this one, and here you will see you want to assign it to either dev, test or production. So it's up to you. If you want to go for the test, you can go. If you want to go for the production, you can also go. So directly you can do that if you don't need dev or test, but we will go for the dev only, and the rest of the environments are gonna create automatically, so we don't need to do that. So let's do that. Once you are gonna do this, so you will see that you have already created this deployment pipeline and you have assigned a workspace to this. You will notice there data sets, reports and dashboards all are 0 because we have not published anything yet in this one. Let's come to the part where we have to publish our report to the premium workspace. For that, I'll come over here on my Power BI desktop application. I'm going to publish this. here I can select my workspace where I want to publish this, and this is my deployment pipeline demo workspace. Select this. It would take a couple of seconds. So either you can click over here, or you can just go into your browser again, refresh it, and now you would notice that you have one dataset, one report, and there is no dashboard right now. Also, you can click on show more. It's gonna show you your datasets or your report or even your dashboard, and then you will get a couple of options, settings, lineage view, the way you want to view it. Now you can directly either publish this from here, directly you can publish into an app, or you can deploy this into your test and production one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to deploy this into my test one so that my testers and the viewers can have a look and they can identify if there's any mistake or something is not working as expected. So it would take a couple of seconds more, and once it's gonna done, you will see a message over there, deployment completed, go to workspace. So you can come over here in your workspace and you can utilize the report generally the way you utilize this into your Power BI Pro account. But now let's go back over here. So there are a couple of things to notice over here. This middle icon, which is in the green right now, so generally you will see in 3 different colors. You can either see red, orange, or green. Green means everything is matching between these 2 workspaces or the environment, because it's under one workspace. These are just the different environments. And if it's orange, that means some are matching, some are not. And if it's in red, that means nothing is matching over there. Now I'm gonna deploy this to production. Here we go, deployment has been completed. With every environment you will get an option to publish app. So if you would like to publish from any of the environment, you can do that. But only with production you will get this update app, because generally we are going to release our report, dashboard, or dataset finally into the production environment, and there only you will get this update app option. So now I'm in sync with all of my environments, and there is a green sign over there. That means everything is good. You will get your date and timing over here. Plus you will get certain options over here. If you want to unassign this workspace, you want to grant the access to someone onto this workspace, you can do that. These are just as simple as you used to do into your Power BI Pro account. There is nothing new. Also, if you would like to change the workspace settings, you can change it from here. You can go to advanced settings, and there you have those settings. So up to you what you want to change. So over here, if you would like to change your settings, you can do that, up to you. Or if you would like to make any change in your storage also, you can do that, but it's a preview feature, so please don't go with that. Now I would like to show you what happens if I'll make any change in my report or the dataset. So for that, we are gonna go back to our Power BI application, and over here what I'm gonna do, I'm going to just delete this from here, remove. So once I saved it, I'm gonna publish it again in the same workspace. This is my deployment pipeline demo. I'm gonna publish it once more. It's saying okay, it's gonna replace this. Yes, we want to replace it. Now my report has been published. So let's get back over here, and here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna refresh this page. Now you will notice that there is an orange icon over here right now. Earlier it was green, but now it's orange. But between test and production, it's the green one, because there's no change between these 2. Now you can compare after clicking on this compare button, and you see there are 2 items which are different. One is your dataset, another is your report. So you can check further by going into your report why it's different, why it's not. If you think it's the same, then you can say okay, deploy it to test, and it's gonna give you the warning 2 items in the destination workspace will be affected during deployment. You say yes, okay, just close this button, and now you will see there is a difference between the test and the production environment. You can again deploy in production and continue, close this, and now you can publish an app if you want to. You can just click on this publish app button, then you have to create the app. If you don't know how to create an app, I have already created a beautiful video on that, so please go and check that. I'll put the link in the description section. You can also provide the access to someone in your team on the deployment pipelines, and there are the different accesses you can provide over here, whether you want to provide that the admin or viewer or contributor, etc. So please go with that. Otherwise, there are settings too, which you can change, like name or the description, nothing much. Now you would notice over here there is an icon over here, this lightning icon, which is saying the deployment settings. So you can create certain rules as well. That means your data source rule and the parameter rules. What happens generally whenever we are deploying from one environment to another, we change the connection string into our data set. So our deployment generally gets the dev connection settings, and our test environment is different for the data, and production is different. So we can change them over here. So what you can do, you can come over here, you can click on this, you will get this. Okay, these are the one data rules configuration. You can select, okay, this one, my data set, and here you can start adding your rules. You can add rules. Okay, this is my path. What is this? So let's select this one. Now you can see what is this. You can select, okay, this is the full path, and then again you can change like this, and there is a parameter rules as well. So if you want to go with that, you can go with that too. And guys, if you would like to read further about this, I'll provide the link in the description for the Microsoft documentation, so that you can go and you can read all the content over there. You will understand, okay, what is the parameters and what are the data source rules. And if further you have any question and concern, please reach out to us and we will help you out ASAP. Before ending this session, definitely there are some other things too to discuss over here, like the limitations, and there is also our deployment to an empty stage or the backward deployment. So yeah, I know that you are surprised, what is a backward deployment? So please make sure you know what is a backward deployment, and for that you can check the link in the description as well, but I'm gonna tell you what is it actually. So let's move over to my presentation once more. So let's discuss about the backward deployment. You can choose to deploy to a previous stage, for example in a scenario where you assign an existing workspace to production stage and then deploy it backwards, first to the test stage and then to the deployment stage. Initially in our demo, what we did actually, we first deploy into our dev environment, then we deploy into test, and then we went to the production one. But it can also possible that first you assign your workspace directly to the production one, and then you can go backwards like test and dev. So this is what is the backward deployment. Deploying to a previous stage works only if the previous stage is empty. Otherwise it's not gonna work. When deploying to a previous stage, you can't select specific items. All contents in the stage will be deployed. So that means only in forward deployment you will get an option to choose which content you want to deploy, but once you are in the backward one, you won't get to decide which one you want to deploy or not. Dataset rules and its types I have already discussed with you. We have two rules, data source rules and parameter rules, and why we need it also I have explained to you. If your report has parameters, you can create the rules for them as well. If your report has a data source connection strings, you can create rules for them. Now let's discuss about the limitations. As I mentioned previously, when we are working on something, definitely there are some limitations. And for this, we have two types of limitations. One is the workspace assignment limitations, and secondly is the dataset rule limitations. So in case of workspace assignment limitations, the very first, the workspace must be a new workspace experience. Secondly, you must be an admin of the workspace. Thirdly, the workspace is not assigned to any other pipeline. Fourth, the workspace must reside on a premium capacity, as I mentioned to you earlier. And lastly, you cannot assign a workspace with Power BI samples to a pipeline stage. Here, you should note that Only workspace that can be used with deployment pipelines will show in the list of workspaces you can select from. So you remember when I selected the workspace, or when I assign a workspace to a deployment pipeline, in the drop down only the premium workspaces were appearing out there. Now we are going to discuss about the limitations for dataset rules. So for that, first of all, you should know that you must be the owner of the dataset to create a dataset rule. Secondly, dataset rules cannot be created in the development stage. They can only be created either in the test or the production one. If the data source or a parameter defined in a rule are changed or removed from the source dataset, the rule will not be valid and the deployment will fail. So make sure you are either not deleting them, or if you are deleting, then you should remove them. Parameter rules cannot be defined for parameters that are of any or binary type. If you have any parameter of the type any or binary, we cannot define any rules for them. Also, data source rules can only be defined for the Azure Analysis Services, Azure Snips, SQL Server Analysis Services, Azure SQL Server, OData Feed, Oracle, SAP HANA, SharePoint, and Teradata only as of now while I'm recording this video. Maybe in future there would be certain others more, but not now. So these were the kind of the limitations for the workspaces and the datasets. Let's move further. So what's going to happen next? Once you are going to create your deployment pipelines, you have assigned a workspace to them, you are using them. You have seen in the demo part as well how I achieved this. But the real question is when you are going to try this. So you should try them. Try to figure it out, the different options available over there, and if you would like to know something more, if you are facing any issues or you have any concern, please do let us know. You can contact us via different mediums, and also you can directly email us. If you have any questions or concerns, please do let us know in the comment section, and stay tuned for more updates.